So this Tesla news, when it happened, we saw Bitcoin actually coming down, but, CEO Elon Musk saying that he could buy in the future. But I wonder, what are the consequences in your view of a big public company like this selling all their BTC?
Well, it's great to see you, Christine, as always. Well, what's the impact? Well, we've seen the impact has happened, right? So that transaction's already occurred, the market's already absorbed it. So we've already seen what that impact is going to be. Now, long term, it's pretty much irrelevant, really, what Elon Musk or Tesla or any individual person does. We know what's happening with the Bitcoin network. We know where this is going. So really, this is just a bit of noise. It's a bit of news activity for today, which will be forgotten pretty quickly. So yeah, it's been absorbed by the market already, and we see the reaction.
Excellent. Well, we also have a statement from Tesla CFO Zachary Kirkhorn. During the earnings call, he said, "We converted a majority of our Bitcoin holdings to fiat for a realized gain, offset by impairment charges on the remainder of our holdings." So I wonder, is this a cautionary tale for companies, having Bitcoin on the treasury?
No, not at all. I mean, we always point to MicroStrategy as, of course, as a kind of beacon on where we're going with this. Tesla's, and more precisely, really, Elon Musk's relationship with Bitcoin has always been a bit unpredictable, I think is the word here. I mean, you may recall he said that he would accept Bitcoin for payments for Teslas, but then withdrew that when he said, there's some environmental concerns. Those environmental concerns are being actively addressed. The last Bitcoin Mining Council report showed that we're now up to something like 60% of production being carried out through renewables, and we still haven't had any word on from Elon Musk and what he thinks about that, and whether he'll go back to accepting Bitcoin. So he's on again, off again, and really it's very hard to tell what he's going to do next. But Bitcoin is bigger than Elon Musk. It's bigger than Tesla. It's just one input into what's going on in the market right now.
Unpredictable is certainly a very good adjective to describe Elon Musk. But, he hasn't ruled out any future Bitcoin buys. He also didn't sell any Doge. Why sell Bitcoin rather than Doge?
Oh, well, I mean, that is a question, isn't it? Dogecoin, it was created as a joke coin, and I very much see it as a bit of fun. By all means, play with it, but understand it's not going to be a global or financial payment system. For some reason, Elon's got really attached to Dogecoin. I don't know if it's an emotional thing. I don't think it's a business decision. And I think he just likes kind of playing with us a little bit on that. I don't actually know how much Doge Elon's holding or Tesla's holding. I'm not actually privy to that information. But I can't imagine it's very much. And it is a strange move. And I think it's more just about his personal statement on it than anything else.
Meanwhile, the European Central Bank, for the first time in 11 years, rising. There's no more negative rates, which is big for the continent. And I wonder what your explanation is of the significance of that and the impact on Bitcoin.
Well, it was inevitable, of course. We're seeing rate rises all over the world, mainly in response to these inflationary pressures, which we're seeing all across Europe right now. It's the kind of textbook response in economics. Inflation goes up, you have to raise the interest rates to kind of slow that lending, to slow that investment, to slow that spending. So, it's not going to be the last raise. I think they've already been floating the date of September the 8th as being at least another 25 basis point rise. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more, actually. But that process is beginning, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. Now, in terms of Bitcoin, well, that depends what school of thought you subscribe to, because, there are those who say, right, well, this marks as just another indicator ending this kind of period of money being thrown around everywhere. It's this tightening of monetary policy. All that probably means Bitcoin's there's going to be less buyers for that because it's no longer now a priority buy. Then there's the other school of thought that just kind of reinforces that this fiat currency is out of our control and we should buy Bitcoin. So it really comes down to how you think about this and whether you're trading or looking to hold, because they're very different strategies. So if you're trading, you're going to be far more interested in that. If you're looking long term, again, it's just a bit of noise.
All right. And Pivoting to one last subject I wanted to touch upon, and that's Coinbase. In April, a prominent Twitter personality, Kobe, he goes by, tweeted out that he found an ETH address that brought hundreds of thousands of dollars of tokens exclusively featured in the Coinbase asset listing post about 24 hours before it was published. So Coinbase investigated that, fired the employee in question, who I believe is Ishan Wahi, and referred the matter to law enforcement. And Ishan apparently tried to flee the United States. And now this case has, been brought forward by the Department of Justice. I find this fascinating in that, well, the DOJ says this is the first such charge for the cryptocurrency markets. They also previously, just last month, charged a separate incident for NFTs on OpenSea. But I want to ask your thoughts into this, because I don't know if you've had a chance to read the case and the implications set forth within and the lessons to be learned.
Yeah, well, it certainly filled up my Twitter feed again in the last few hours. Look, insider trading is not a crypto phenomenon, right? There is a reason why there are so many laws against it. It's a human condition. It's not a crypto condition. There's always been insider trading. There probably always will be to some extent. So the fact that it's crypto, I think, is kind of largely irrelevant. Although it's interesting in the way that it was actually rumbled, because of course that's because of blockchain and being able to track this kind of stuff. So the way it's been discovered, it is different, and perhaps that is significant, and perhaps it will encourage other exchanges to tighten various processes. But as I say, at the end of the day, you're fighting a human condition, this idea that I can get ahead because I've got some insider information. And these guys in these positions, for those guys, it must be quite tempting. But it is against the law, and there are reasons for that. So it is the first case that we've seen with crypto. I wonder if it will be the last. I don't know.
Well, Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies are certainly traceable. They're on the blockchain. You can see the whereabouts. So if folks think that they can get away with insider trading or such, it's on the blockchain. It can be tracked. So, there's a lesson.
And you can never get rid of it either. Yeah.
You can never get, yeah. And, just from the filing by the DOJ, they also mentioned that some of the securities, 9 of them, that some of the tokens are securities, which will be interesting going forward. Bitcoin is a commodity, so is Ether, but suggesting that these new altcoins are securities. So could open a whole other can of worms.